Live from Studio 3, this is Packaging Today with Evelio Matos, Adam Peak, and Cory Connors.
Yay!
Welcome to the Dog Pound.
No,
No.
Cory, we just talked about this. Oh, man.
I meant welcome to Packaging Today. Woo-hoo.
Oh, shoot. Now you got me doing it.
We appreciate you all coming to join us today. Mr. Adam Peak, the packaging pastor, is with us. Hello, sir.
Hello.
And Cory Connors, the host of Sustainable Packaging.
Not the packaging pastor.
Right, not.
You are the corrugated cardinal.
Although I am ordained to perform weddings, I've done 6 now, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, but, you're the RSC Reverend.
Evelio will be joining us virtually for a while. He's spinning the ones and twos in the back, working the system. But he'll come on soon when he can. Let's talk about packaging.
Yeah.
Lots of things going on in the world of packaging, especially sustainable packaging, but that's not always our focus. Evelio mentioned a few articles in regards to the U.S. new laws regarding plastic. Basically,
forgot Evelio dropped this down there.
Oh, good morning, everyone.
Drop us a comment where you're joining from. It's always fun for us to see where people are tuning in live from. So thanks, Evelio, for being on the 2 turntables. We've got the microphone, but you're aware of that. Sorry, Cory.
We appreciate it.
But Joe Biden, back to Joe Biden.
Joe Biden and his illustrious cabinet are making some sustainability goals for us here in the USA. Yeah, very exciting. I think it's a step in a direction. I don't know if it's the right direction. I hope it is, and I hope it affects positive change for the world. What are your thoughts on it, Adam? Have you read the document?
Yeah. So first of all, we got people chiming in from Chicago, Clemson. Marcus, I'll be out there in next month. I'll be in Clemson or in Greenville. So I'd love to see some of the folks. Oh, Lee, Minnesota. By the by, it is we've had like record snowfall in Utah as well. So everyone stay home. Don't come snowboarding here. It's terrible. The snow is awful. You won't enjoy it at all.
If you hate fluffy powder, stay home.
Yeah. Nobody wants you here anyways. And we've got Brazil. That's exciting.
Hello.
Evelio is not here to correct me on my terrible Portuguese or Spanish accent. So I read the article, and I know there's a few. We can post some links to the article here, but essentially, here's kind of my feelings on stuff like this, right? So you have the administration of the U.S. saying we're going to set a goal that is a couple of decades out on like 90% of plastic production being made from, I think they called it bio-based.
Yes.
Which is like, okay, is petroleum not bio-based then? Like, I think that's what we're saying, right? We're saying like non-petroleum based plastics.
Not fossil fuel, right?
Non-fossil fuels. We want to keep the dinosaurs
in the ground,
undisturbed.
Leave them alone.
And so on the one hand, I'm like, okay, this is interesting and kind of neat. Also, this is just like politics. Adam comes in and says like, so if one administration can just say, hey, we're going to do this, can't another administration just come in next and say, we're not going to do this?
Right.
I mean, we've seen that with like, you had, like the EPA like the EPA rollbacks on things, and then those are put back in. You've got like, we're part of the Paris Climate Accord. We're not part of the Paris Climate Accord. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And it seems like anytime we don't pass something that goes through Congress in like, the what was the how a bill becomes a law? Remember that cartoon? But it doesn't go through that way, and it's just like someone just like, this is what I think should happen. Let's do it, and then it just leaves room for the other people to come in and say, I don't think this should happen. So I sort of take these announcements with, I don't know, a bit of a grain of salt, I guess, and I go, okay, we'll see. It's an interesting direction. I don't think on its at first glance it's some like horrible awful thing to do for our country, like being the leader in like non-petroleum, non-fossil fuel, bio-based plastics and fuels. I don't think is something that's horrible.
Right.
I don't know enough to understand if it's possible though. What are your thoughts?
I think that's the rub. I think that's the issue here is, will it actually happen? Is it actually feasible? And what I just interviewed Paul Folks, and he said now in UK, it's now illegal to mention on your packaging that you have a goal in the future, that you will be such and such by such and such date. It's posturing. They've decided this is total garbage. Unless you can prove today that you are this. That's all you can say is what we are today and not what we're planning to be. Someday we're going to be carbon neutral. Great. What are you today? And what steps are you taking today to get to the next level and to the next improvement? And I like that a lot. I think that kind of a mindset should be adopted in worldwide.
No doubt. And Michael Gardner chimed in with Schoolhouse Rock. That's what it was. It was
That's right.
Rock. Yeah, thank you, Michael. Appreciate you. Yeah, I like that idea of like, because think about like, I like to pull business things into my personal life, because we need to remember that we are all humans who are making decisions while we're at work. And so when I think about what you just said, how many times have we started the year and said, in the future, I'm going to weigh this, I'm going to be able to do this, I'm going to read such and such. And it's like, okay, that's great. It's good to have these kind of goals. It's not some horrible thing. However, as we're seeing with these 2025 commitments that our friend John Blake spoke about at the Spec Right Summit from Gartner. I think he's from Gartner.
Yeah, Gartner. Yep. Amazing speech. Well, you and I just sat there and enthralled in his information.
Is incredible. Everyone go follow John Blake. He's great. But as they have researched, they found out everyone made these claims on where they're going to be in 2025. And very few, it was like less than 10% of those claims are going to be hit.
Yeah.
And so while it's a headline grab to be able to say, hey, this is something that we're working towards. Is there going to be accountability? And this is really where I think it comes in to say, and if we don't get there, then X, here's the consequence. We're going to close our company. It's like, oh gosh, okay, we better get there. All of our executives are going to be paid $1 until we get there. Okay, yeah, we should probably get there, right? But if it's like, if you don't have any consequences in your own life, then you typically don't make it happen. And so, yeah, I agree. I think that's fascinating. I'm excited to listen to your interview with Paul.
Yeah, really impressive. Paul's brilliant. He's working on a book, and he said my podcast was the last thing he was going to do before he finished his book. So he's got like 6 months where he's not going to do any media interviews and things like that. So that felt good to get the last one in. Sorry, Adam.
Paul, that's okay. I know you've made a commitment for the future, Paul, but you can always change. You can always come on my podcast.
90% of those commitments won't.
Yeah, you're not allowed to. We can't.
It's okay.
Hey, the Twin Cities is represented. What's up, Dustin? We got a couple
Dustin
coming in.
Hey, Brandon.
What's up, Brandon?
Canadians.
Yeah, those Canadians, they're milk in a bag and they're poutine.
I posted about milk in a bag. It's a very fascinating packaging difference. How did two countries that are literally connected, have such different packaging for a common staple like milk. It's fascinating to me.
Yeah, and we've obviously shifted in the US as well. You know, our milk packaging has evolved a bit. We still, by the way, we have a milkman at our house, which is
I love that.
Yeah, it does cost more, you know,
Sure.
and I'll tie this back in actually to the article we're talking about with Joe Biden, because Greenpeace came out and said, "No, this isn't enough."
Right.
So the argument against reuse has always been someone has to pay the milkman, and it's true. There is cost to processing and delivering, you know, our milk, but like we get done with our milk, we wash it out, we set it out in the milk box, the milk person picks it up. I think it is actually a man every time, so I'm not genderizing.
That's all right.
And they pick it up and then they take it back and then that gets cleaned out and reprocessed and all that stuff. So yes, it does cost a little bit more, but we can go visit the dairy where our milk comes from. It's right here in Utah. We really love it. Yeah, here's the article. Did you pull this up, Cory?
No.
Oh, Evelio.
Mr.
Really?
Matos.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Here's the article here from Greenpeace on the response. And they say somewhere in here, and I can't see the thing, but they talk about how we need to be like recycling and all this is just, it's kind of like a waste of time. That what we really need to be focused on is reuse.
Yeah.
And we really need to push for that. And for me personally, I don't like these either or arguments for sustainability. I don't like okay, well, recycling is clearly broken and it's never going to work. And so we have to only do this one thing. It's like, well,
I
that's
agree.
an opinion that you have. But why can't we do that thing?
It's narrow-minded. It's a problem. It makes people stop recycling, which is even worse, in my opinion. The solution is and all of the above, in addition to, and more. Reuse, of course. Recycle, yes, please. Bio-based films, yeah. If we can figure out how to recycle them, I'd love that. It makes sense. But that's the key. We need to be able to recycle bio-based plastics. Paul, and this is a little bit of a sneak peek. He said one of the
Don't use my name like that. You didn't ask for permission.
Oh yeah.
It's a sneak
Matos. I never thought of that. Yeah, sneak Matos. He said one of the students that was working on bio-based plastics came up with this natural dye that would make anything that was bio-based purple under the scans of the AI sorters in a MRF. So it would actually pull out these bio-based plastics and separate them so that they can be recycled together. And to me, that is incredible. That's an absolute game changer because it could actually work. Now, we just need to put in all these robots and everything. And I think the MRFs are quickly doing that because they need to.
Yeah, I love the comment that that we had up on the screen by John, that we do need everything. It's not reduce, reuse, or recycle. It's not, those aren't three separate things. It's all, and also compost and all that stuff. It's like whenever I've been working with brands, I'm like, let's make a decision that's right for all of the everyone in the value chain here, right? What's right for your brand? What's right for your people? What's right for the product? What, like, it's people think like it's so easy to just be like, it's just reuse. It's like, well, some people can't afford reuse. Well, it's just compost. Well, some materials aren't good enough to protect the product. The product can't exist if it's just compostable materials.
Right.
And to your point, Cory, I know you had just interviewed, and then a couple days later, I interviewed, hang on, from Everest Labs. Apurba from Everest Labs.
Oh man, he was on my show too.
It's great. Yeah, he told me about it. I think my full episode will come out sooner than yours, so deal with it.
I'm booked through June.
Yeah, not me, I don't think. But what they're doing with artificial intelligence and robotics at the end of these recycling lines, means that we can actually we're making advancements in recycling. So to stop those advancements when we already have materials that are perfectly great that we can now collect and sort with even greater efficacy means that it's not wrong to continue down that path. And you know, certainly you and I both work for companies where it would be advantageous for us to sit here on live on the internet and say plastics bad, paper good, because we work for companies that manufacture a lot of paper-based products.
Right.
And I've said this before on the show, I've said it before on LinkedIn. It's hard for me to trust people who have an agenda, who only speak positive about their solutions and always speak negative about everyone else's solutions.
Yeah.
And I know that we've tried really hard to be wide open to saying, even if this doesn't benefit our agenda for the companies where we work at, Myers.com, MEYERS.com, for all of your packaging needs. Even if it doesn't benefit that, we still want to try to go to the truth.
Yeah, you know, www.aurora, ORORAPACKAGING.com is a great website to
so
visit.
much better. Myers is just so much easier. MEY. It's getting ridiculous.
We are sponsored. No. This it's an important thing to think through all of these thoughts, because people are pushing back more and more. Anything I post, no matter what I post, there's half a dozen people that say that's wrong, that's not going to work, recycling is this, or composting is this, and it doesn't help. The negativity is not helping. Well, let's instead be positive about everything and lift everything up. And like John said, we need everything. We need to be able to recycle, reuse, reduce, compost, all of it, because it makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, it'd be like if you were trying to get healthier and somebody said, you need to take your vitamins. And it's like, vitamins don't work. You need to do, you also need to, you know, eat a whole food diet. It's like, yeah, but eating only a whole food diet means this. You need to exercise more. And it's like, well, why don't you just celebrate anyone's incremental advancement towards living a better life and help educate them on that path onto various things that they can do? Because the minute somebody takes a step out and is like, I'm trying to get healthier and I'm going to work out 3 times a week. And it's like, working out 3 times a week won't do anything unless you change your diet and you change your habits. Like, okay, then I'm not going to work out at all. And they just go, and they just retreat back. It's like, stop it. Stop pounding people into the ground with this.
The easiest thing to do is nothing. And I think that makes it very simple for a lot of people to say, no, it doesn't work. I'm not doing it. Forget it. Somebody else can deal with that.
So we got here from John.
That's the problem.
I think for many, they want or feel things need to be simplified to black and white. And unfortunately, it's a lot more complex, and we need various tools and to continue to improve those tools and innovate new tools. Totally agree, John. And in one sense, yes, we need to make it easier. That's where I think what Paul Nowak's doing at Sustainable Packaging Coalition and How to Recycle is aiming to get there, right? Along with I got to meet Steve Alexander at the APR. Lots of acronyms, but at the TLMI event. But you know, we talked a lot about this stuff, about there's so much complexity that happens behind the scene for you to get one little logo on your packaging, because we are in the industry, we're trying to simplify things down to don't recycle, throw away, recycle this, check locally. Like, we're trying to do it. Is it perfect? Of course it's not perfect, but we're trying to simplify it as best we can. But it doesn't help when people are just like, no, screw it, recycling sucks.
Right. Paul had an awesome point when I interviewed him. He said, you know, the concept of people bringing packaging back to the grocery store sounds crazy right now to a lot of people. But think back to the early 90s. If somebody would have told you that you have to carry a cell phone with you every single day, everywhere you go, you would have said, no, forget it. I'm not doing that. I've already have to carry my keys and my wallet. That's enough. And so the point here is that behavior can change.
Yep. Great question here from Dustin. Are there any successful programs for waste to energy that don't emit high CO2, or are there sustainable ways to offset CO2 emissions with creation or transition into O2? Cory? Do you know? I think it's an awesome question.
It is an
I wanted
awesome
to read
question.
it so that I could end it with, and back to you, Cory Connors.
My understanding is the waste to energy facilities are as clean as they can be today, and a significant amount of filters and scrubbing of the off-gassing material happens. And the point of it is that when there's no other solution, this might be a good one, in my opinion. We'd rather recycle that material. We'd rather keep it in play, as some of our friends like to say, keep those molecules in the world and in play. But yeah, my understanding is they're as clean as they can be today with that waste to energy facilities.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I have no idea. I don't know much about waste to energy, only that it is a hot button topic for people because it does get called out for greenwashing.
Mm-hmm.
I know where Dustin's at in Minneapolis. They're big proponents of waste to energy. There's trash cans are labeled everywhere with waste to energy. I do think that waste management is going to be, we're going to see a lot of advancements. That's my future prediction. By 2050, we will have
at least 10%.
Yeah, but I love following some of the more hot button things, but like chemical recycling and the consortium for waste to energy, I think it is, that Michael Ferrari and Dr. Bruce Welt have headed up. It's not only the materials and circulation, but the end of the life. If there is a way to create circularity back into usable things that doesn't destroy our planet in a much quicker way, because that doesn't help either, right? So if there is a way to do that, through pyrolysis or other chemical recycling or through plasma gasification or any of these other things that I've been hearing about and reading about for the last few years, cool, let's go for it.
Right.
I'm all for it. If all I have to do is take my trash and dump it into a bin, and that bin goes off somewhere, and through AI and robotics and waste to energy and all the chemical recycle, all this stuff turns it into molecules that stay in and keep going. Sweet.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That's
I'm
it.
in favor.
And it's like any debate, anything, there's a downside to everything. You can say, well, recycling takes too many extra trucks, or there's so many things that can be negative about anything, and it's the answer is we need to work together to solve this problem and continue working until we're carbon neutral as a society.
That sounded like a really great like beauty pageant answer as well, Cory.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
I wanted to let you know that I thought it was
I'm
lovely.
Mr. Corrugated.
You are actually.
That's my
that is a true statement of what is true right now. Well, Cory, here we got about just a few minutes left. So what do you have going down this week and in some events coming up and all sorts of good stuff?
Yeah, really excited for Nathan Alford from the LM Tribune. He's taken his company that was a newspaper printing company, and he has, in addition to printing the newspaper, in the extra time they have available, they print void fill packaging with 100% recycled material. And I thought, this is absolutely a brilliant idea. And they recycle locally, and it's just a closed loop circular system. Brilliant concept. But what it does is it allows companies to print the void fill paper when they're shipping. with QR codes or their logos or all of the above. And it's a fantastic idea. And he was so really good. Check out Sustainable Packaging Podcast today. Fantastic interview. How about you, Adam?
I love it. Yeah, I've got Kale Whiteman coming on, and she's the founder of Serum Water Bottles, and they make a water bottle that is it seems as though that there is an enzyme added to the water bottle that will allow it under any type of landfill to break down it within 50 years, or I forget the exact number. But that basically then that can be turned into methane that is then captured, and similar to Dustin's question about waste to energy, that a lot of these landfills are capturing methane gases and turning it into a sellable product. So super fascinating. She's young and energetic when it comes to sustainability, and passionate about keeping plastic out of the waters and turning it into something that can be used. So super interesting. So check out the People of Packaging podcast. I'll also be putting out the third and final interview from the TLMI converter meeting, should be coming out this week as well. So it's exciting. A couple of events coming up in May. If you are going to be going to D-Scoop, I will be speaking there about social media strategies for packaging companies. Also, just a quick plug, if you're a paid member of the Packaging is Awesome Substack, which is where I put out articles and promote my podcast and all that stuff, it's $5 a month. This Friday, I'm going to be doing a kind of like a workshop on some social media tactics and some ways that you can get your videos out, some of the stuff I learned from Cory and Evelio. So just trying to give back and help. So you can go to packagingisawesome.com, follow the podcast, check me out at D-Scoop. Cory and I will be in Chicago.
AICC.
Yep. AICC event.
That's May 23rd, 24th in Chicago. And AICC, what's it called? The Packaging Experience. Nice.
Yep, the Packaging Experience in Chicago. So it should be fun. If you missed the D-Scoop event in St. Louis, it's going to be similar content at the event in Chicago. So if you're a member of the AICC, come check it out. That is the Association of Independent Corrugated Converters.
Yes. Yep. And Waste Expo is May 1st through 4th in New Orleans this year. I'll be speaking there a couple times, both on a panel and as a keynote speaker. Really looking forward to that opportunity. Thank you, Liz Bothwell and team at Waste Expo. If you haven't been to a Waste Expo as a packaging professional yet, I highly recommend it. And especially if you're in the recycling space or anything to do with waste to anything, check it out. It's incredible. Adam and Evelio and I have been several times to speak, and it's an awesome event.
And Fred, we've got to meet up.
Yes.
We've got to meet up with Fred in Chicago, so we'll make it happen.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Well, that's all I got. Cory, you got anything else to add? Any ancient words of wisdom?
Oh, namaste to all of you. We appreciate you. We're thankful for this incredible community, and honestly, just elated by how the growth has taken off in this show and our other podcasts, and how we really feel like we are affecting positive change here. So reach out to us if you have sustainable options for packaging or concepts that you want to get out there so we can help.
Indeed. Evelio, let's wrap it up.
Do it. Thank you all. Appreciate you.
Maybe.
Live from Studio 3, this is Packaging Today with Evelio Matos.